Long before the rise of the Galactic Empire, before the Jedi and Sith waged war across the stars, there existed a deep-rooted darkness in the galaxy, the Sith, an order known for its secrecy, its thirst for power, and its manipulation of the Force, has a history steeped in betrayal, ambition, and conflict. But where did it all begin? Today, we unravel the origin and early history of the Sith, a journey that stretches back a millennia. Our story begins with the Force itself, the binding energy that flows through all living things. In the ancient days, millennia before the Sith as we know them existed, the galaxy's earliest Force users congregated on a planet called Tython. These early philosophers sought to understand the mysteries of the Force, which they believed had two sides, light and dark. But as time went on, disagreements emerged. Some believed in balance, seeing the Force as a harmonious blend of light and dark. Others, however, felt the dark side offered greater power and potential. This philosophical divide would eventually lead to the creation of two distinct orders, the Jedi and the Sith. In these early days, those who followed the dark side were members of the Jedi Order itself. However, their views were increasingly seen as dangerous. Around 7000 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, a great conflict known as the 100-Year Darkness erupted. Dark Jedi, wielding their knowledge of the dark side and their mastery of forbidden techniques, were defeated by their light side counterparts and subsequently exiled from the known galaxy. The Exiles fled to the far reaches of space, eventually discovering a planet called Korriban, home to a red-skinned humanoid species known as the Sith. These Dark Jedi quickly established dominance over the native Sith, taking the title of Sith Lords and intermingling their dark side teachings with the culture of the Sith people. Thus, the Sith Order was born, blending the mystical traditions of the native Sith with the ambitions of the Dark Jedi. While the Jedi Order valued peace, harmony, and control, the Sith embraced the opposite. For them, power was everything. This philosophy is encapsulated in the Sith Code, which serves as the backbone of their beliefs. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. Unlike the Jedi who sought to suppress their emotions and avoid the pull of the dark side, the Sith believed in harnessing its passion, whether it be anger, hatred, or even love, to fuel their connection to the Force. The unrelenting pursuit of power and freedom is what made Sith so dangerous and unpredictable. Beyond their wars and power struggles, the Sith were deeply entrenched in dark rituals and forbidden knowledge. Their connection to the dark side wasn't just about wielding power, it was about mastering ancient secrets that could bend reality itself. Sith sorcery, alchemy, and dark rituals were pivotal in their pursuit of immortality and ultimate dominance over the Force. Sith alchemists could create monstrosities like the terrifying Sith spawn, twisted creatures imbued with the dark side. Their sorcery allowed them to tap into forbidden powers such as Force drain, essence transfer, and even the manipulation of life and death. The holocrons of ancient Sith Lords like Darth Ndedu and Darth Nihilus held secrets that many Sith desired to unlock, but often at a terrible cost. These rituals and dark arts made Sith more than just warriors. They became scholars of destruction, capable of feats that defied the natural order. However, with such power came madness, and many Sith fell victim to the very dark side energies that they sought to control. At various points throughout galactic history, the Sith were not content with lurking in the shadows. They established massive empires and rivaled the Republic and the Jedi. Perhaps the most infamous of these was the Sith Empire, led by Naga Sadow, a Dark Lord of the Sith who launched a war against the Galactic Republic in what became known as the Great Hyperspace War around 5000 BBY. This was one of many wars between the Sith and the Jedi, with both sides constantly vying for control over the galaxy. The Sith, driven by their ambition for total dominance, often sought to wipe out the Jedi completely. But time and time again, they were met with resistance. While the Sith often came close to victory, their tendency to turn on each other often led to their downfall. No discussion of the early Sith would be complete without mentioning one of the most famous Sith Lords of all, Darth Revan. Originally a Jedi Knight, Revan turned to the dark side after witnessing the corruption and stagnation of the Republic. He and his apprentice, Darth Malak, led a campaign against the Republic that shook the galaxy. However, Revan's story is unique. After being captured by the Jedi, he was reprogrammed and turned back to the light. His internal struggle between the light and dark sides of the Force became legendary, and his legacy as both Sith Lord and Jedi continues to resonate throughout Star Wars history. With ambition comes conflict. As the Sith Order grew in power, so too did its internal strife. Sith Lords would constantly plot against one another, seeking to take control of the Order. This infighting was so persuasive that it nearly led to the extinction of the Sith on multiple occasions. To combat this, a new doctrine was introduced around 1000 BBY by Darth Bane, a Sith Lord who recognized the dangers of such chaos. Darth Bane instituted what became known as the Rule of Two, one to embody the power, the other to crave it. In essence, there would only ever be two Sith Lords at a time, a master and an apprentice. The master would hold the knowledge and power, while the apprentice would learn and eventually overthrow their master, ensuring the Sith continued to grow stronger with each generation. Despite repeated defeats and apparent extinction, the Sith never truly disappeared. They became masters of secrecy, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Over the centuries, they infiltrated the Republic and positioned themselves for a return to power. This culminated in the rise of Darth Sidious, known to the galaxy as Emperor Palpatine, and the fall of the Jedi Order. Darth Sidious's manipulations led to the creation of the Galactic Empire, a Sith-controlled government that ruled the galaxy with an iron fist. The Sith had finally achieved what they had sought for a millennia: control over the galaxy. But as with all things Sith, this victory was short-lived, and the cycle of conflict with the Jedi continued. The history of the Sith is one of ambition, betrayal, and an unending quest for power. From their origins as exiled Jedi to the eventual control of the galaxy, the Sith have left an indelible mark on the Star Wars universe. And while the Sith as we know them may have fallen with the defeat of Darth Sidious, the dark side always remains, waiting for those next to rise. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the origin and early history of the Sith. Make sure to check out one of the two videos down below and to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the Star Wars galaxy. And as always, may the Force be with you.